When looking at what's driving the secular bull market in commodities, there's basically simple supply and simple demand factors. And when we take a look at demand factors, it has to do with government policies for building infrastructure, in particular the Chindia effect, China and India. Populations hitting 6 billion people. These are very important factors that are driving the secular bull market in commodities. On the supply side, we continue to see restrictions. We need clean air and clean water. And environmental rulemaking has been growing exponentially. So we need to have higher commodity prices to justify exploration and development, and that's not been taking place. So we have supply restrictions, basically, that have been affecting the market. And then we have geopolitics, and not just the Middle East. We have strikes in Chile that affect copper prices. We have smelters in Mexico. So you have this imbalance between supply and demand.
How do rising or falling environmental costs affect commodities?
I guess really quite simply, what is driving this is the return on capital model. So as we have more and more environmental rulemaking, which we need, it basically says to justify exploration development, you're going to have a much higher commodity price. So there's been under exploration and lack of development of deposits, but the world continues to grow.
Under your direction, what are your drivers for picking stocks?
Those stocks that have outperformed all the indices, 70% of them can be identified by having higher returns on capital. So one automatically says, what drives the return on capital? Growth in reserves, growth in production, and growth in cash flow. So we look at that. And then we're very cautious over the 3 price levels for picking stocks: wholesale, retail, and fairy tale.
What do you mean by fairy tale?
Fairy tale, because these prices become overextended. Everyone gets excited. The dollar has fallen. The price of gold has gone up. And everyone becomes extremely confident and bullish. And prices will elevate to a fairy tale level. And we show this statistically and mathematically on slides to show people there's extensions. Then they crash and they become wholesale again. And it's recognizing that it's important to getting performance.
Do you allow your analysts and fund managers some free range when investing for your funds?
We're a very structured organization, and we're very teamwork. We have systems that I think are just cutting edge. On a regular basis, we travel all over the world. Every Monday is a macro day, looking at the big global picture, looking at government policies, looking at currency trends. The other 4 days are watching the stocks that we own.
What effect do the November elections have?
Well, the election cycle is important in America because America is only 5% of the world's population, but it is 1/3 of the world's GDP. So when America basically sneezes, emerging economies can catch pneumonia.
What effect does global population have?
It's extremely significant. I believe that the CNNs of the world are very, very important in what's taking place, of letting the poor of the world see a beautiful lifestyle. Even today in the internet, I was in the Peruvian mountains, in the Andes, there's no internet yet, but there's CNN in every bar. And you see, I believe MTV and CNN have basically, for the past 15 years, there's over 400 million TVs that are watching this sort of European, North American imagery. Very powerful.